Welcome to the Mac Label Designer for the Kidddo Print Mac app. Now, beginning with version 1.1.12, in addition to utilizing predefined label templates within the Mac app, using this editor, you can customize and tailor this information to your needs, including adding a logo for your organization. So I'm going to step through this interface and show you how it works, and then show you how to import custom labels into the Kidddo Mac app. So beginning up in the upper right corner, you see there's a drop down that has the 4 types of predefined labels, which are the test print, the guardian receipt, the volunteer label, and of course the child label, which is probably where most of the modifications will be taking place. You'll also see to the right of the selected item there is a little settings cog. In here you'll find the basic label settings, including dimensions and width and height in millimeters. So the default here, 102 by 59 millimeters, is the landscape orientation for Dymo 30256 large shipping label. On the packaging for the labels, you should see dimensions both in inches as well as millimeters, and millimeters are the number that we need in these boxes. So you notice this is landscape, so even though it prints this way, by defining it as landscape, it will turn 90 degrees sideways when it prints, so that it prints the size of this defined label. You'll notice on the test print, we're using the same label, but it is in portrait mode. So here the width and the height are swapped, and the orientation is defined as portrait. So you can play with this to fit all different types of label sizes that you need, but that's how that functions. Now, back to the child label, you'll see for each label type there are different selectable and editable fields defined. Some are text, some are objects like this line or the code box that are rectangles, and then of course a logo. Now, since we're in the logo field here, you can see that there are certain things that can be hidden from view from printing on the tag entirely. Here you'll see it'll reveal a little logo, and here is where you can select your own logo to go in place. So say, remember or noticing that the label has a white background, you'll want to use a darker rendering of your logo to upload here. But here you can see our icon, and these can be moved around using the arrows up or down, and the size can be changed as well to fit what you would like. All right, and then of course you can hide it again, as well as any other elements that you may not be utilizing. Say you don't want the gender field, you can hide that. You don't need the grade field, you can hide that as well. And then everything else you select can be moved around. So here we have the first name is selected, and you can change the size of it incrementally up or down. Say we want it like that. I want to move it a little to the left, a little more down. You can adjust the font weight, whether it's normal or bold, as well as the alignment. And in the alignment, you'll see, say for example in the code, we have it aligned center, so that no matter how wide the numbers end up being, they will stay centered in this box. Back to the first name, you'll see we can also adjust the color of the text. Now, keeping in mind that thermal label printers may or may not render these differently on actual paper, so test print it. Again, if you have white text selected on a white label, nothing is going to appear. But you can see how where we have the rectangle, we have the code in white text, because that appears between the contrast with the white box behind it. But if you were to say, oh, I don't want the code box, let's hide that and just keep the numbers by itself, you can do that. So this is basically how this works. And then once you have a label design that you like, you can hit download. This is going to download a file here. And what I'm going to do is, before I import it into the app, I'm going to go ahead and relabel it as Reno Child Label, just so I know that it's different here. Now you'll see inside of your printer app, when you select the settings, here we see the 4 predefined labels that match what is in the label designer. But there's a new button down here to import label. And so here we can select our new label, say open, and now when we go through here, we'll be able to say, hey, there's the Reno child label available. And this will include, so now when labels print, they will look like this, except for with the individual's information in place of it. That's the basics of how this works. This also is set up so that as you go, there's a little local storage just on your browser side, on the client side, that saves your changes. So if you accidentally refresh the page or close your browser, you can reopen it and your changes will be there. Again, when you're done, remember to download the file, and then you can always reset what's in your browser if you have changes that you don't like to reset to the original label. So I hope this new feature you find incredibly useful, and do some creative things with making fun, unique labels for your organization.